The moon, our glowing night buddy, has always been the star of wild theories and spooky tales. From werewolves to late-night chaos, people love blaming the full moon for bad behavior, crime sprees, and a touch of madness. But is it really a cosmic troublemaker, or are we just looking for an excuse for our midnight snacks and mood swings? Let's dive into the moon's gravitational pull, phases, and orbit to see if science backs up the drama, or if it's just another round of lunar lunacy. Widespread beliefs surrounding the full moon. The belief that the moon impacts human behavior is surprisingly widespread. Surveys indicate that around 80% of nurses, 70% of mental health professionals, and 50% of the general public believe the full moon influences people in various ways. Common claims include an increase in psychiatric hospital admissions, violent crime rates, erratic mood swings, seizures, and even traffic accidents. These associations paint a picture of the full moon as a powerful force capable of altering human actions and emotions. However, these claims demand scrutiny, as science often reveals truths that challenge popular perceptions. The moon's gravitational pull, a scientific breakdown. To assess whether the full moon can affect human behavior, it is essential to understand the moon's gravitational forces. The moon's gravitational pull is most evident in its effect on Earth's oceans, where it causes tides. This observable phenomenon has led to a theory suggesting that the moon might similarly influence humans, given that the human body is composed of about 80% water. However, the science behind gravitational forces challenges this assumption. Gravitational pull is measured using a unit called a Newton, which quantifies the force required to accelerate a 1 kilogram object by 1 meter per second squared. The Earth exerts about 950 newtons of force on an average human, while the moon exerts a mere 0.4 newtons. This minuscule force is not significant enough to have any meaningful impact on the human body or its behavior. Moreover, while the moon's gravitational pull is strong enough to affect large bodies of water like oceans, it does not exert the same influence on smaller bodies of water or individual human beings. The scale of the oceans allows for the observable phenomenon of tides, but the relatively small size of the human body renders the moon's gravitational pull negligible. Understanding the moon's phases and orbit. Another critical aspect of the full moon debate involves the moon's phases and orbit. The moon orbits Earth in an elliptical pattern, meaning its distance from our planet varies. When the moon is closest to Earth, it is at its perigee, and when farthest, it is at its apogee. These points in the moon's orbit determine the strength of its gravitational pull. However, the phases of the moon, such as full moon, new moon, first quarter, and last quarter, are unrelated to its distance from Earth. The phases are determined by the alignment of the Earth, moon, and sun, which dictates how much sunlight the moon reflects toward Earth. A full moon, for example, occurs when the Earth is positioned between the moon and the sun, allowing the moon's entire face to be illuminated. This alignment has no direct connection to the moon's gravitational pull on Earth. Proponents of the full moon theory often conflate the moon's phases with its gravitational effects. They assume that the increased brightness of the full moon, or its apparent size, correlates with stronger gravitational forces, but this is scientifically unfounded. The gravitational pull of the moon remains relatively consistent throughout its phases, with only minor variations based on its distance from Earth. Does the full moon affect behavior? Scientific studies have extensively investigated the relationship between the full moon and human behavior. The results consistently show little to no evidence supporting the notion that a full moon influences crime rates, psychiatric disturbances, seizures, or traffic accidents. Even in areas where some connection might seem plausible, such as sleep patterns, the observed effects are minimal. One study found that the full moon might reduce sleep duration by less than 1%, a change so slight that it is unlikely to significantly impact overall behavior. The increased brightness of the full moon, which could theoretically disrupt sleep, is insufficient to cause notable changes in mood or actions. Similarly, research on crime rates and emergency room visits during full moons has failed to establish any statistically significant correlations. The psychological appeal of full moon myths. If the full moon has no measurable effect on human behavior, why do so many people believe otherwise? The answer lies in the psychological and cultural factors that perpetuate this myth. Historically, the moon has been associated with mystery and power. The term lunacy, derived from the Latin word for moon, reflects an ancient belief that the moon could influence mental stability. This idea was prevalent in many cultures, where the moon was often linked to supernatural phenomena and unexplained events. Psychological biases also play a significant role in sustaining the full moon myth. Humans are naturally inclined to notice and remember unusual events, especially when they coincide with a full moon. For example, if a particularly chaotic night occurs during a full moon, people are more likely to attribute the chaos to the moon rather than to chance or other factors. This tendency, known as confirmation bias, reinforces pre-existing beliefs and makes them resistant to change. Memory bias further compounds the issue. People are more likely to recall events that align with their beliefs while disregarding those that do not. As a result, anecdotes about strange occurrences during a full moon are often shared and remembered, while uneventful full moons are forgotten. Over time, these biases create a distorted perception of the full moon's influence, making it seem far more significant than it is. The role of cultural narratives. Cultural narratives have also contributed to the enduring belief in the moon's effects on human behavior. Folklore and literature often depict the moon as a powerful force capable of altering reality. Werewolves, lunatics, and mysterious transformations are common tropes in stories that center around the full moon. These narratives shape public perception, reinforcing the idea that the moon holds sway over human actions. Even in modern times, popular media continues to fuel the myth. Television shows, movies, and books frequently portray the full moon as a catalyst for dramatic events, from crime sprees to supernatural occurrences. These portrayals tap into deeply ingrained cultural beliefs, making it challenging to separate fiction from reality. Animal behavior and the moon. While the full moon's effects on humans are largely debunked, there is evidence suggesting a link between the moon and certain animal behaviors. For instance, some species, such as coral, time their spawning events with the lunar cycle. Nocturnal animals may also be influenced by the increased brightness of a full moon, which can affect their hunting and foraging patterns. However, these behaviors are specific to certain species and are often tied to survival mechanisms rather than the moon's gravitational forces. The extent to which the full moon impacts animal behavior is limited and does not provide evidence for similar effects on humans. The importance of scientific inquiry. The persistence of the full moon myth highlights the importance of scientific inquiry in distinguishing fact from fiction. While anecdotal evidence and cultural traditions can be compelling, they are not substitutes for empirical research. By examining the moon's gravitational forces, phases, and psychological impact, scientists have demonstrated that its influence on human behavior is minimal. This understanding underscores the value of critical thinking and skepticism in evaluating long-held beliefs. Rather than accepting claims at face value, it is essential to seek evidence and consider alternative explanations. In the case of the full moon, the evidence points to a negligible effect on human behavior, challenging the validity of popular assumptions. Appreciating the moon's true significance. While the full moon may not influence human behavior in the ways many believe, it remains a remarkable and awe-inspiring celestial phenomenon. Its role in driving tides, marking the passage of time, and inspiring art and literature highlights its importance in both the natural world and human culture. Understanding the moon's scientific properties allows us to appreciate its true significance without attributing undue influence to its phases. By dispelling myths and embracing evidence-based knowledge, we can foster a deeper respect for the moon and its place in the universe. Thanks for watching, moon enthusiasts. Remember The only thing the full moon is guaranteed to do is make werewolves howl, and maybe brighten your midnight selfies. If you enjoyed this cosmic debunking, give this video a full thumbs up, subscribe, and share it with your favorite lunatic friends. Stay curious, and don't let the moonlight keep you up tonight, unless you're binge watching more of our videos.